Now, we need to make a model for our, we'll call it analysis. This will be the AI analysis of a post. We want that to be a separate model versus just storing it on the entry. So we'll say analysis. It's going to have those same three things here at the top, just like so. And this one's going to have a relationship to a journal entry. So we'll just say, journal, or actually I'll just call it entry ID. That's a type string. And then I'll call this the entry, which is type journal entry. And it has a relationship of fields that is going to be entry ID and a reference of ID. And then going back up to our journal entry, I just need to make the other connection. So this is not like the other one where it's one-to-many. This is one-to-one. An analysis has one journal entry, and a journal entry has one analysis. So it's a one-to-one. So that's going to look something like this. So I can say analysis. You can call this whatever you want. I'll say analysis. And its type is going to be analysis. But I have to put a question mark here. I have to make this optional. And that's because it's a one-to-one relationship. And, you might have this chicken or egg problem of like, well, if this isn't optional, then you can't create a journal entry without the analysis being done. But the analysis can't get created unless it has a journal entry ID. So this has to be optional. Otherwise, you won't be able to create any one of these due to, a required restriction. And then lastly, we just need to go down here and we can say index the entry ID. And this thing is freaking out because one-to-one must use unique. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This has to be unique if it's a one-to-one. So instead of saying index, we'll say unique. Like that. We'll probably have to change all of these to unique. You can't query without a unique index, which is great because that means if you're querying without an index, you're scanning the whole table, and that's bad. So it kind of forces you to do that, which is great. No more query planning, which is, I don't know if you ever had to do that before. It's not fun. Cool. And then just the fields for the analysis. So analysis has a mood. That's a string. It has a summary. That's a string of like, I'm just going to put db.text here just in case it's long. Who knows what the AI is going to make? It's so unpredictable. And then it also has a color. That's a string. And then it has a Boolean on whether or not it was negative. That's a Boolean. Now we should have a error-free schema. Now, if you want to clean this up because your formatting is all janky, you can just go into the terminal and do npx Prisma format, and it'll clean it up for you like that. It'll actually go back and write these other side relationships for you as well. So like you could just write the relationship on one side and then get that error and just do format, and it'll go right on the other side for you. It just always picks a stupid name, so I never do it. Like, I don't know why it gave it that name. And it always like capitalizes it. I'm like, why would I want this field to be capitalized? I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Do you happen to know what it does to comments that are in the file?
The comments? Oh,
I don't want to lose the notes I took.
No, the comments, it doesn't touch the comments. You're good. Yeah, you're fine. Cool. Any other questions on this? All right. And whenever you make a change to your database, just remember, you got to go back in your terminal, npx Prisma, db, push. And what is this saying? So this is really cool. This is why I like Prisma and PlanetScale. So it's basically saying like, hey, you just added a few unique constraints to a model that you already previously had. So if you've already created some data with that model, you might lose some data because something's going to be broke because you didn't add a default for those unique constraints. So, you might have some data loss here. You sure you want to do this? Ignore these warnings. So this is really great because I can't tell you how many times I've messed this up writing like migration files in Grunt. I know you remember that. Or Gulp or something. And it's just like, oh, well, it worked on my machine. So it's like, because I didn't have all that data on my machine. So of course it worked on my machine. So yeah, this just tells you that, yeah, I don't care. I don't have any users. So yeah, I do want to ignore that warning. Leave me alone. And yeah, it just does it. So there we go. It syncs with the database. We have our new Prisma client. It's in sync. And just to verify, if we go back here, give it a second, and we should, oh, there it is. So you can see we have our analysis, our journal entry, and our user all ready to go. And this is the SQL you did not have to write.